Imagine more than one way to get an education. Imagine more than one way to teach. Imagine an entire community embracing these ideas. Trillions have been and are being spent in the U.S. alone to gain advancements in our drive to compete educationally, to prove ourselves. We're respectfully questioning that game plan. Imagine all the resources, time, money, people we currently spend on school and health, being used instead to enliven a community by focusing energy on gatherings and spaces and resources that matter to them. We're experimenting with what might happen if we set a city free, free to be curious. Imagine community as school, with the entire city as the floor plan. The high school buildings become resource centers and meetup spaces. There's a citywide art hall and an engineering hall, forensics hall. The town acts more as a university campus, where people are walking and biking to and from buildings through the course of the day. Imagine we simply start talking to people in our community and come to find out the lady down the street has been translating Japanese for years. The man across the street is a lawyer on board for a homeless safe house. A woman across the street is a local university researcher looking into the Arctic ozone layer. We've got locals building robotic arms and sending things into space, and artists doing art like nobody's business. Imagine learning to use the resources and spaces already in the community. Imagine noticing what we have. Our findings echo Oscar Wilde. Most people are other people. Their thoughts are someone else's opinions. Their lives a mimicry. Their passions a quotation. Imagine a mental space of permission, where no one is measuring or labeling you. A space to talk to yourself, question yourself, become yourself. Pause. Breathe. Swim in vulnerability. Practice the art of self-reflection. Am I doing what matters? Imagine how we could change a space, a country, a person, if we focused on self-assessment rather than any standardized assessment.
It's a place for you to find yourself, I feel like.
I think it's not really just only being yourself. I think it's about showing people to be themselves, you know, to see people as not just a cowboy or, you know, a jock, but to see that we're all like eclectic people.
Because, I mean, it's just so free. You feel like you're flying. It's sort of like a dream, and you sort of get to live that out every day when you're not in such a controlled environment.
Oh my goodness, this past year and a half has just completely changed my life. I mean, I thought I was just that kid who people don't really think about. I was that kid who's just like, look at that dumb stoner, look at that, you know, look at that hick. And now it's just kind of like altered it where I'm just like, man, that person's good at art, and I'm starting to notice, I'm starting to dream, I'm connecting, and then I'm doing. And so it's just kind of like it's just kind of like this process that like, some of it can be slow and some of it's just like a sprint, but it's working. It's cool. It's just like any other town has I think the opportunity and the resources to do something great, and we just got to show them how to. You know, not seeing people as like one type of group or one type of ethnicity. You know, people are all around different, and so I'm doing the challenge of seeing that, and my TED kind of starts out with me signing, and so maybe they think that I'm deaf, maybe they think that I'm hard of hearing, maybe they think that I'm hearing. But as my talk goes on, next I'm singing a song that I wrote about the challenge, and they say, oh, this person's a little bit more eclectic, and they start to see that, oh, he's not just, you know, he's not just a signer, he's a singer. Then at the end I'm talking, and I say, okay, so now there's 3 things this kid has. He is signing, he does some singing, whether it's good or bad, and now he's talking, so he's a speaker. So maybe that will open their eyes, and I think it will open their eyes to see that, oh, when we look at people in the street, we're looking at people who can do so much more than what our eyes think they are.
Because without it, I wouldn't have known that I can really do anything. Without it, I wouldn't have got the chance to find out who I really am. I wouldn't have known as much as I do now. and I'm so glad that I have. So the BU House helped me not only understand like who I was, but understand out what I could do and what the world can, or what my city and the world and all these places can turn into if everybody just gets time and space. And that's a lot of the things that the BU House has brought to me, is time and space to become myself. And now I feel like the BU House is a starting point for people who are not really getting it and don't really understand that they really could do anything and they really are amazing.
So the food pharmacy, it's spelled P-H-O-O-D and then pharmacy. And I sort of thought of that because I want the food to be the medicine instead of prescription drugs. So I sort of mixed the two. And what it is, it's where people can come and they can see, if they have something wrong with them, they can see what food helps with that. If they have a headache, they can, figure out what type of food they should eat. And then they can come and help grow their food and see how it's cooked, and just sort of an education place where they can learn about how to eat and how to grow. Because a lot of people, they don't know, they just go get a box and that's their food. So now I'm the youngest yoga instructor in the nation because I've only been doing it for 2 years myself. So I'm still, working on it, but it's sort of helped me by teaching. It's gotten me better.
This isn't about school or not school. It's not about a BU House or geeking out on robotics or hanging in a chem lab or in a sculpting or music studio. It's not about right or wrong. It's about people. This is a people agenda. It's about everything and anything. It's about curiosity. It's about connecting. It's about finding the thing you can't not do and doing it. I have two very different sides to me. I have a very wild, adventurous side, and then I have more quiet, calmer side. And the two of them work together in my books a lot. Writing is a whole different world for me. The characters seem so real that sometimes you just disappear into the pages and then you can't get out until someone shakes you. I'm working on my novel, the second one. It's about 250 pages long now. And I've had a few little glitches in that. My neighbor's been helping me out a little bit with some cool ideas for that. And I'm illustrating it. Like this drawing here, this is Malrina. She's sort of one of the main characters, and I felt like drawing her. None of this is new, but perhaps doing it is. Perhaps the combination is. Imagine working our way back to simplicity by combining health, education, budget, all into one category, life. We're imagining a collaboratory space infused with technology in order to break down walls and bring us together in conversation. It's about coming together in conversation, in spaces of trust, listening to each other without an agenda, finding out together what it means to be human and alive. This is an experiment that will never be finished, never be perfect. We're seeking betterness. We're creating us.